Hello, everyone. We are Team 6, and this is our formal proposal regarding student resources for success.
So for the team members, we have me. My name is Manaj Haq, and I am currently a biomedical engineer here at Wayne State University.
My name is Michael Myers. I'm a civil engineering major at Wayne State University.
My name is Michaela Poli, and I'm a chemical engineering major here at Wayne State University.
I'm Sarah Ridley. I'm also a chemical engineering major here at Wayne State University.
So now on to our qualifications. For me, I have 2 years of experience here at Wayne State University.
I have 2 years experience at Wayne State University, 6 years experience as a professional within the service industry.
I have 3 years of experience here at Wayne State University.
I have 4 years of experience as a graduate of Ferris State University, as well as 2 years of experience here at Wayne State University. And on top of all that, I have 4 years experience within the automotive industry with technical specifications.
So the purpose of our topic is student resources for success. We've researched and highlighted 4 main areas of our concerns that we think, if we can address them, will improve student success. The first is the lack of silent study spaces. The next is the lack of time management seminars, lack of post-graduation assistance, lack of class schedule diversity. We conducted primary and secondary research. You'll see that later on throughout our presentation. And also, we have proposed solutions to these problems, and you'll see that later.
So a little bit about how this presentation is going to go. We're first going to give you an introduction. So we'll give a brief background and an overview of the solutions that we have thought of. And then from there, we're going to discuss each of our major issues that we researched. So this would be the lack of silent study spaces, the lack of time management seminars, the lack of class schedule diversity, and the lack of post-graduation assistance. And for each of these, we're going to talk about which research methods we use, as well as the results that we were able to come up with. And then finally, from there, we're going to conclude. We're going to give you our proposed solutions and give you basically a summary of what we presented to you.
Some background for each of our 4 main problems that we're looking into is that students currently do not have enough silent study areas. Students currently do not know how to manage their time at university. Students do not have enough flexibility with their courses, and students feel unprepared for entering the workforce.
So a brief overview of the solution. So what we have for silent study spaces is that we want to have more floors that are designated to just silent study, as well as also adding in a couple more desks and chairs. This is to help mitigate the cramped spaces that some students may feel. On top of that, for the lack of time management seminars, where we really want to add our time periods throughout the semesters, where you can meet with your advisor and they will teach you about time management and some of the things that you can do. And then we also want to potentially have some seminars where upperclassmen within the major will come and talk to some of the younger students about what they did basically when they were in their shoes. For lack of class schedule diversity, we want to add in some more evening classes, as well as utilize some of the more the existing technology to make distance learning more approachable and easier and accessible to a lot more people. And then finally, for post-graduation assistance, we want to have guest speakers to talk about their personal experience, as well as some educators to talk about some of the skills that you'll need in the workforce once you finally graduate from college.
To look into our lack of silent study space issue, we conducted both primary and secondary research. For our primary research, we did a survey and we found that 71% of students choose to not study on campus. 71% of these choose not to study on campus due to inconvenience, and 29% due to noise level. For our secondary research, we looked into how other universities solved their silent study space problems, and we found that the University of Wisconsin-Madison designates certain floors or rooms as group, quiet, or silent study. In their quiet study sections, they have some talking, And in their silent sections, they have no talking whatsoever. University of California, Santa Cruz does something similar, but they have silent, quiet, somewhat quiet, group, and active. In their silent study, there's absolutely no talking, no headphones, and no music whatsoever. Quiet allows some talking, but no groups. Somewhat quiet allows small groups. Group and active are allowed and have no noise restrictions. Penn State also does something similar, where they have a quiet study section, which is just for studying, and then loud seating, which is more towards socialization purposes. And they also did a library expansion, adding even more silent study areas to their libraries. Some solutions that Wayne State could use to solve these problems are to also use designated levels or floors or rooms as quiet, social, or silent zones. And we can also add more desks or chairs to add more spaces for people to study.
So for the lack of time management seminars, what we found from our primary research, which was surveys, was that 43% of students said that they didn't know how to manage their time effectively. In addition to this, we see that 57% of students also said that they didn't know which classes that they had to take. Now, this is really interesting because this is a lot higher number than I think Wayne State should have, because in order to graduate effectively, you need to know how to manage what you need to get done and how to manage all of those things in a timely fashion. And so through our secondary research, we found using the internet was that University of Georgia actually did a study. And within this study, what they did was they looked at an equal amount of undergraduate males as well as undergraduate females. And what they were seeing was each student was given a survey. And before the survey was given, each student had to show their GPA. And so then once that was done, they were given the survey. And in the survey, they had to basically answer about their time management skills. And what the University of Georgia found was after students talked about their time management skills within this survey, after that, their GPAs increased. So that's the correlation that they found. So something as simple as simply talking about time management, not even implementing time management skills, but just talking about, yeah, my time management skills might not be as good as they should be. Something as simple as that could have a very, very huge impact on the GPAs of students, which is very, very crucial to any university student. So what we have for a potential solution is on the left, what we have is a seminar week, basically where the advisors are focused on talking about time management to the students that want to come talk to them. So this would maybe be during a week. So like November 11th of next year to November 18th of next year. You could meet with your advisor, you could tell them all the things that you would need to get done, and they would basically say, hey, this is the best way of getting it done. And then on the right, what we see is a more monthly solution where students would come in and talk to alumni or upperclassmen within their major. And so for me, that would be an upperclassman or an alumni of biomedical engineering. And so you would come in and basically say like, hey, this is kind of some of the things that I have to do. And then the alumni or the upperclassmen would say, these are some of the things that I had to do. I know what you're feeling. This is how I tackled the issues. And of course, we'd have things like refreshments to keep them engaged and keep people coming to these seminars.
The lack of class diversity, we conducted primary and secondary research on this. The survey results were that 71% of the people who were polled, they responded that they work 40 plus hours in a week. That was, to me, a high number. It seemed that way, but I think it's justifiable when you really think about a lot of people are forced into that role to support themselves or their family. Some people maybe are looking to change their career or their life and go back to school to finish their degree. And it's actually a good thing in that regard, is that some of these students who are working their way through it, they actually they learn that real world experience to advance their careers. Some of the things that you're going to school for, you're getting a leg up in your education when it comes to that. For our secondary research, we utilized the internet for our research. We looked at Pennsylvania State University, Penn State. Really, they're one of the leaders when it comes to online distance learning programs. you're slowly seeing universities begin to adopt programs for that you can use online. Penn State is really one of the leaders in that they have a multitude of bachelor degrees that you can participate in. A lot of what we see right now, a lot of universities, including Wayne State, some of their online classes, they really only apply towards master level classes. Penn State, some of the other universities, they're really leading the way when it comes to bachelor, undergraduate level. They're allowing students to take it on their own accord. And another source for our secondary research was Wayne State University itself. We took a look at some of the classes for both the 2019 and for the 2019 winter semester and the 2018 fall semester. The numbers are actually really similar, but what we found was that for the winter semester, there were just over 5,600 total classes. About 1,200 of those were available after 5:30 p.m. or you could take online, which accounted for about 27% of total classes available. To me, that seems like a low number. But then also when you factor in that a bulk majority of those classes, those online classes, they actually apply to master level classes and intro level classes, which you may have already completed elsewhere when you transferred into Wayne State. So that just to me shows that there's just much room for improvement. So examples of class diversity for us would be well, it's twofold really, is technology. We believe the technology already exists, and the other one is evening classes. In regards to technology, something that Wayne State already does, but they don't do it well, and they could certainly expand on this, is Echo 360. Certain classrooms are equipped with the recording equipment to record lectures. Students can go into Blackboard and review the class lecture if they need to. It's really good, not just for people who have a difficult time meeting those schedules. It also applies to students who do regularly go, but for some reason maybe they had to miss a class, they can go back and reference that. And evening classes are really kind of self-explanatory. We think that the university could kind of recognize the lack of class schedules offered for students after that, and really make it an initiative to offer those courses.
The last topic that we did research on was the lack of post-graduation assistance. We also did primary and secondary research for this. Our primary research, our survey results, collected what students have learned or in class or outside of class, but through Wayne State University. They had a multitude of answers to choose from, but what they showed was that 14% said that they learned how to write resumes or cover letters at Wayne State University. Mostly what I heard was that there's an English class that is offered or is required to take that offered the ability to write at a resume for class and get it reviewed by your peers and the professor. 71% said that they learned basic skills that were outside of their major that they were studying. These include utilizing technology, group work, and other examples, which I will show on the next slide. 29% of those that were polled said that they haven't learned any skills that will help them with them in post-graduation, transferring from university to the workforce, which is not exactly a good number to see. Another question posed was how they feel their education is at Wayne State University. Is it accurately preparing them for the workforce? And surprisingly, only 57% of those that were polled said that they felt like they were being well prepared for transitioning from university to the workforce. Secondary research conducted was mostly just from internet research. The first was a Forbes article that was answered by Eric Duffy, a CEO of Pathgatherer. He had a very flat answer of no, universities do not prepare students for transitioning from university to the workforce well at all. The skills that you learn within classes at university are not always used in the workforce and can be kind of outdated. He does a lot of hiring for his company, and one of the things that he does is he just completely disregards whatever the title or the major is for the person applying for a position. Mostly what he relies on is their skills and experience, because those are the most valuable assets to him as an employer. And he feels that most employers use the major or what the degree is as a severe crutch for hiring someone, and that does not always give the best candidates for a position. A second article that was utilized was a survey conducted by Gallup and Strata Education Network, which was a 2017 college student survey, just gauging how people interpreted their education within college as well as their after college life and transferring from college to the workforce. What this survey overall showed was that there are many students that do believe that they are prepared enough for the workforce, at least to get an entry-level position. But just about as many employers would say the exact opposite, that new graduates are not adequately prepared or do not have the right skill sets for the workplace and are usually passed off, and they go to other candidates that show these skills. Some solutions to this would be having guest speakers, or even better yet, having alumni from Wayne State University come in and talk to students, give them their personal insight as to how their transfer from university to the workforce occurred, such as what should or shouldn't be in an interview. What did they hear? Resume, not an interview. What they put in their resume as opposed to what the employers were actually looking at. Employers' wants and expectations pertaining to just a broad scope. Yes, you have a degree, but can you implement the degree? Do you have problem-solving skills? Can you work in a group? Can you do other things? And also provide questions that you should be prepared to answer for an interview. Most interviews have generic questions that get asked that are typical from any company. This kind of presentation should probably occur at the beginning of a semester or mid-semester, as opposed to later in a semester. Later in semester, students are usually too involved in their classes and studying for finals to want to be able to go to this kind of presentation. On a second note, there are certain skills and aspects that should be implemented into the curriculum here at Wayne State University, which employers find extremely important. These include the ability to verbally communicate with people as well as written communication. Most of what we do in college is from a written standpoint and not so much focusing on the verbal communication. Working in team, problem-solving skills, ability to plan and organize, process information, analyze data, having technical knowledge or tech savviness, proficiency with a computer, ability to create or edit written reports, and be able to influence yourself or others. And this one really goes hand in hand with group projects.
So just to quickly recap, a lot of our proposed solutions. For the lack of silent study spaces, we propose in the short term designating floors and rooms as silent study areas. In the long term, add more desks and chairs, just really give more space for people to study. For the lack of time management seminars, and the short term time periods to meet with the advisors, as Manat was describing, this could be really beneficial. Some people, they might not even realize it's a problem until it's too late. Long-term solution would be seminars where alumni of each major attend. This will kind of help guide students who are working their way to their degree, get that firsthand experience of what some of these alumni went through, the do's and don'ts, essentially. For the lack of class schedule diversity in the short term, add or adjust course availability, particularly in the junior and senior level classes. And for the long-term solution would be to further expand the educational outreach program. Really, I think the intent there is with the satellite campuses that Wayne State already has, some of the community colleges that they work with, incorporate into this distance learning, incorporate the existing technology of Office or Echo 360. You can have students who are distance learning. They can take proctored exams at designated testing locations. Really, there's a multitude of ways to accomplish this. And the last one, the post-graduation assistance. In the short term, have guest speakers focusing on transferring from a university to the workforce. And in the long term, implement basic workplace needs into the curriculum.
All of these topics that we covered basically are not only help students be successful in their careers and their majors, it also benefits the university itself by being able to retain students. For universities to be able to retain their students and have them graduating from the university, they must be able to offer tools and resources for them to be successful. If a university does not have a good rate of hire after graduation from the university itself, it is not going to encourage many students to apply to that university for any of the majors. So you really want to put all of this first in order to keep these students coming. These are our resources for the documents that we got all of our research from, as well as our images. We thank you very much for listening to our presentation today, and we hope that you consider some of our solutions and implement them so that we can all be successful here at Wayne State University as students.